You've tuned into S.L.A.M, a co-production between KMUZ and CCTV, the Mid-Willamette Valley's community media. Today's guest is Freakout Records recording artist Smokey Brights. Thanks for coming in so early on a Sunday afternoon. You guys are on a little road trip. It sounds like you're on your way to South by Southwest.
Yes.
Is that the truth?
Yeah, and Treefort.
And Treefort on Boise, right? And so, you've done a South by Southwest, maybe not in this incarnation, but you've done one in the past, correct? It sounds like.
Oh, I've been there. I think Luke's been there.
Been there. Been there.
But
Done
this will
that.
be Smokey's first time down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And How do you like these industry type things, or do you prefer like the Treefort Festival where it's mainly civilians, as it were, and not jaded industry professionals standing there looking at you?
I think we like anywhere where there are humans that we can connect with. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. It's the primary goal is that our songs connect with someone. So whether that's someone who's, just a lay person who happens to dig music, or whether that's someone who works in music.
I'd prefer the lay person, actually.
It's true.
Well, have you guys done a Hollywood show yet where everybody's standing at the back of the bar looking at you like this?
Oh,
And-
sure.
Yeah.
We'll do one this week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you are in Los Angeles in a couple days,
we'll
aren't
be
you?
in LA.
Yeah. But how, so far, though, you've done a couple shows on this leg, and they're going well for you?
Yeah, we just had Portland last night, and we'll have San Francisco in a couple days, and
Yeah,
so far, so good.
This is show number 2 of
show number 2.
a 3-week tour.
So if we caught you at the end of this, that might be you guys might look a little more haggard and.
Yeah, we're so freshly showered.
You're still
not
fresh.
A care in the world right now.
Awesome. So you guys have a new record out, correct?
Yeah.
Do, yeah.
Tell us about it a little bit, please.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we put out a new EP just this last January on Freak Out Records. It's called Come to Terms. It's on beautiful red vinyl.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about it.
We worked with this producer named Sam Bell, who is a British dude that kind of crash landed in Seattle and heard us on the radio, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to get a beer?" And 2 months later, we're making a record, and a year later, we've made another record with him that's not out quite yet, and he's just kind of part of the family. But
Yeah.
so this is we're really, really excited about this EP.
Awesome. Well, you want to place another one from the EP then?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that first
Please.
one was from our last full length, which is called Hot Candy. But this one is called Come to Terms. No, this is called Love Like This.
Love Like This.
And it's from the new EP, Come to Terms.
Awesome.
I saw you out late, yeah, on a Sunday, stumbling down the street. You didn't notice me, and you were talking to yourself, and I didn't want to make a scene, but if you want to hear from me, well, love like this is never quite enough. Like this is never quite enough. Love like this is never quite enough. Love like this was mine, but it was stolen, and it was stale. But now you can call it yours. Who could ask
Kim and Ryan, you are married and you are the leaders of the band, and you write songs together, or
We do, yeah.
is it
We
a
do it all
Lennon
together.
McCartney thing, or is it like the Gallagher
yeah.
brothers?
Wings is
We do
probably
love Wings.
one of our favorite bands of all time.
Okay.
So yeah, we're definitely living out our Paul and Linda fantasy. Here,
Oh, okay.
Traveling and writing songs together and being in love.
Not to diss the late great Linda McCartney, because she was an awesome human being, but I gotta say Kim's isolated vocals sound a little stronger.
Kim can sing. Yeah.
So is there a songwriting process? We talked a little bit earlier, but you just plink around the house and just mess around with the guitar or the keyboards, and does one of you say, hey, that sounds pretty cool, play that again? Or
Yeah, our house is right actually in the center of the house is this bizarre little room that was billed as a dining room. It's not you couldn't fit a table in it. I don't know why they said it was a dining room. So we fit 2 pianos and a guitar and a jukebox into it, and we're like, that's a better use for that space. So that's sort of that's kind of the hearth of the home, and that's where we spend the majority of our time when we're home, either there or in the basement studio, and just sort of.
And we always liken songwriting to like kind of putting up an antenna, you know, like the ideas are out there, and if you keep showing up and you're lucky enough, you might kind of catch an idea. And then you bring it home, you build it into a song. But what's nice with both Kim and I writing songs is that, you know, we're kind of out in the world, and little ideas will float our ways, and maybe we'll make a little voice memo or jot something down. And then
A lot of voice memos.
And then, you know, either over like morning coffee before our days start, or at the end of the night, you know, before or after dinner, we'll just sit down and work on songs together. And we write a lot more than we actually bring to the band. Yeah, we like to think these are the strongest ones.
So you're the types that write a bunch of songs, then whittle it down to like these are the 3-4 strongest ones that we want to present to the band, or as opposed to saying this is the song and I'm going to construct this from beginning to end. And
yeah, I think we've been learning a lot too about our own songwriting process over the last few years, and I think we used to be a little more structured, and you know, this is a song we're writing right now, and now we're actually, you know, we'll never get rid of an idea.
Right.
If it doesn't turn into a song, it stays as a recording somewhere or in a notebook somewhere, because you know, you never know. We actually, one of the songs we just recorded on this new EP that we just, not the one that we released a month ago, the one we recorded a week ago. We had a song and we were really struggling with the lyrics for it. Okay. And everything we were doing just kind of sounded corny and didn't really fit the music. And then we actually put the lyrics from another song we'd written over that song, and it just was like magic.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah,
so you had 2 separate songs and you did a mashup, as it were.
Exactly.
And it works out better. Are you going to play this one for us? Is that planned or no?
That one we're not going to play because it's not out yet.
And
we want to talk about the new record. But that's not a dissimilar process to everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second part of it is that we take these core ideas and we bring it to, you know, Nick. We bring it to Luke. We have another bassist named Jim and a lead guitarist named Mikey back in Seattle. They're not on this tour, but, you know, we kind of bring the seed of an idea to some really talented people, and we just get to work in our basement and come up with what we come up with.
Cool. So do you have a recording rig in your basement? You're capable to knock out demos and that kind of stuff there?
We do. It's you know, not a fancy setup, but it's home recording technology is amazing now. It's I mean, we have a little UA twin interface, and
we're hacks, but
yeah, we are.
We'll send stuff to our producer, and he's like, "Sounds great."
That's awesome. Very cool. Cool. So what? Tell us about the next one you want to play then.
We are gonna do "Come to Terms." So this is the title track off the new record, "Come to Terms," and this record was primarily written towards the end of 2016. And if you haven't put it out of your mind, it was a pretty tumultuous time in American politics, and we're still kind of living through that moment. So this is kind of a song of frustration and anguish, and kind of a big FU. to our current president and to anyone that kind of put us in this awful position that we're in. And the highest compliment we've gotten as songwriters lately is that our dear friend in San Francisco, she's like, every time I read the news and I'm so pissed off, I put this song on and I like scream along. So
Highest compliment.
if you need a song to kind of yell along to, this is your tune.
Awesome. Sounds like a compliment to me.
Well, I never asked for fear by simply living here. Well, I was young and I was good. I did the best I could. But you made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms. I get the gist of this. It's you take what you can get. And when the water is getting high, you hope your shit stays dry. You made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms. You made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms. Guilty on a Tuesday, burned down on a Thursday. Love that excess, excess, excess. Take that check in cash, you take that blame and pass it. Call it success, success, success. You made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms. You made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms. You made the worst of this. You made it obvious, and I've come to terms on my own terms.
Wow, you guys rock out.
We do like to rock out.
Do you like to rock out? Well, it's okay. So where do you, I don't want to say your influences, but what was like the first band or artist that you saw and said, you know what, I really want to do that?
That's
Someone asked us this kind of a similar question lately, and like, there was never any band for me personally that like I stood in the mirror and kind of pretended to be in, But I was a child in Seattle, Washington, in the early 90s, and there was so much just exuberant, awesome rock and roll music happening. And some of those people were, by a few degrees of separation, in my world, and rock and roll just seemed like a thing you could just do, It was never like this, maybe someday you can work it up and be in this band. It's like, no, get a guitar. Like I got my first bass guitar, and I think I was in 4th grade, and I just started learning everything that I could. And that's why I've always come to this art, is that it's for everybody. And if anyone's watching this and is like, boy, I can't do that, it's like, go do it. Like, no one's idea is any better or worse than anyone else's until it's actually out there. So, if that makes sense, you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very optimistic way of looking at things too. That's commendable, I think. How about you, Kim?
You know, for me growing up, I actually was mostly into hip hop and R&B as a kid growing up, and that was, I think Ryan had never really listened to hip hop until we got together in 2009, and so, well, had you ever heard of it? But in addition to that, you know, Paul Simon, Graceland was probably one of the most seminal records of my childhood growing up, and that I spent some years of my childhood growing up in Senegal, and so living in the United States and having these, you know, African rhythms and sounds with Paul Simon, it just sort of brought it all home for me, and it made me realize that music can span genres, it can span experiences, right. It can expand identities, and that's what's so incredible about it.
I agree. I'm going to go back to the Seattle thing. So you started out in early Seattle, or started out playing in Seattle. You were like in the 90s. When you guys play out, especially when you first started, was there ever pressure, because you're walking into a scene that was pretty well established at that point? Well, it's been established for a long time. You ever be like getting ready to play a gig, and all of a sudden, you know, there's a guy from Pearl Jam standing there with a beer in his hand saying, "No, rock me," or anything like that?
We have had that experience where you look out in the crowd and you're like, "Oh God, oh jeez."
Guy from Soundgarden, something like that. I mean, yeah, always. Anytime you enter something that has an established kind of scene and culture, and you are a true beginner, it's intensely nerve-wracking, but there is a different spirit to like the Northwest in general, which is a lot different than like Nashville or even L.A., where you know, just ideas are honored and encouraged, as opposed to like chops or shredding your guitar solo a bunch. So in that sense, Seattle's always been really welcoming, just to anybody that can like get a noise together and put it on a stage, you know. But yeah, I mean, always nerve-wracking to like jump in the stream when there's so many talented individuals around you.
Well, yeah, it's a big stream with some big fish up there. I mean,
absolutely.
It is. Do you think though it's more welcoming than like a Nashville or Los Angeles scene, because I want to say it's not as competitive in the sense that there's not everybody's looking for a record deal or trying to score an agent, or I mean, I'm sure there's an element to that, but you know, bands in LA are always trying to one up each other versus help each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Seattle it's a collaborative, cooperative community. It's an interesting one because, I mean, you guys in Salem, you know what it's like. It's dark and rainy most of the year, and then we all sort of come out of our hovels to group together and share ideas. And I'm constantly just amazed by the talent in our town, and it's not just grunge music,
right?
You know, which I think Seattle sort of had to get past in a way. I mean, I love grunge music, but it's not
pigeonholed though. The
you
scene,
don't want,
right?
Exactly. You don't want to be pigeonholed, and it's
right.
So I think, you know, there's been a lot of artists coming out of Seattle over the last couple of years that have sort of helped to branch that out, and that's what's really exciting is having a vibrant music community that's also really diverse and has a lot of different influences in it.
Do you head out and check out the Seattle hip hop scene at all, Kim?
You know, I haven't gotten to check out Seattle hip hop as much as I'd like to. Mm-hmm. That would be, I guess it's hard too, because you only have so many shows that you get to go to.
Right.
When you're not playing a show.
When you have your own.
Yeah. So
right.
I haven't gotten to go to as many as I'd like to, but it's there's a block party on Beacon Hill every year that we went to this last year, and that's
the Station Block Party.
Station Block
Beacon
Party,
Hill.
Okay.
And that was probably it was sort of making up for lost time, because I don't get to go to as many hip hop and R&B shows as I'd like to, and then it was this just incredible neighborhood party right next to the light rail station with, you know,
I know where
bunches
that's
of people, different, you know, ages, shapes,
Right.
sizes, everything, and coming together, and we got to see some of the coolest
Oh yeah, Seattle hip hop's
young
got it going on
artists,
right now.
and
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
All right. So I got to ask then, and we'll cut it if we want. What do you think of Macklemore?
You know, I like Macklemore. He's a bulldog like I am. Garfield. Whoop whoop.
Oh, okay.
Same high
and-
school.
Yeah, and he's a best friend of one of my good friends, and I have seen him performing since he was 15 years old.
Wow, really?
I mean, anybody who wants to say he did it overnight is not doing their
Well,
research,
that's true.
because he has worked really hard for a really long time. And what I think I liked the most about him was once he got to the top, it wasn't, okay, see you guys later. He's hired so many of our friends. I mean, he played at the Grammy and we knew 3 people on stage.
Wow, that's really cool. He seems like a genuine guy,
Yeah.
and like
He
he's
is,
super
absolutely.
So,
cool. So you're gonna spit some rhymes for us, or are we just gonna go to the next song?
no, nice try.
I thought I tried to work that in. Cool. So all right. So what do we have next then?
The Other Way.
The Other Way.
The other way.
So,
Okay.
so this is also from the new EP we just put out on Freak Out called Come to Terms, and this song is called Other Way.
Awesome.
It's an anthem against apathy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You're trying to look the other way, but the other way, it looks back. This is not the town we grew up in. The streets are dark. When I saw you there, I knew the end was at its start. You're trying to look the other way, but the other way, it looks back. Now is not the time to turn your back on what you see. Find the strength in you, and I will find the good in me. But ooh la 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 la, hey hey, you're trying to look the other way. Ooh la 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 la, hey hey, you're trying to look. Ooh la 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 la, hey hey, you're trying to look the other way. Ooh la 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 la, hey hey, you're trying to look. Ooh la 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 la, hey hey, you're trying to look the other way. Catch your sun, catch your stars, strange constellations and color bars. Static kissing mamas kissing in the cars. You're not from here, but you ain't gone far. You ain't gone far. You ain't gone far. Look at your sun, look at your sky. You're not some mama's boy on a weekend high. It's not your first attempt or your second try. You've been making it up until the day that you die. Singing ooh la 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 la, hey hey hey. Shake it like a town girl in the parade, in the chorus line on the 4th of July. Stuck behind a beauty queen, my oh my. Ooh la 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 la, hey hey hey. Shake it like a town girl in the parade, in the chorus line on the 4th of July. Stuck behind a beauty queen, my oh my. Singing ooh la 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 la, hey hey. You're trying to but the other way, it looks bad.
We didn't talk about something, and we all agreed to the same thing without talking about it.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, that's well.
Mind meld.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, bands. That's I am a musician trapped in a non-musician's body. I can't play a freaking note, but I love music, and that's one of the things I think you guys have as a group. You kind of have like all the birds turn in the same direction at the same time kind of thing going on, right?
That is the trick, isn't it?
The Rupert Sheldrake's morphic fields. That's what it is.
I'm not familiar with that, but that looks like a Wikipedia.
Yeah, he's an English scientist that studies like your dog knows when you're leaving work to come home,
yes.
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Why do the birds all turn at the same time? And
Yeah.
I bet you could apply these principles to
Yeah.
Why does our
music as
cat
well.
get so depressed when we're about to go on tour?
Oh man,
Your
our
cat knows you're leaving,
Totally
right?
knows
Yeah.
when we're leaving.
And he'll know when you're coming home too, even if you're not
Hopefully.
there.
He just gets ready to hiss before you even walk in the door.
Okay, so does the cat hang out on the recording sessions? I've heard stories of
God.
studio cats. It's not an
He's
uncommon
not a
thing.
studio cat. He's a
not-
Siamese. He isn't
He's-
put him outside when we're recording
He
cats.
thinks he's got
turn
a
that
future
down.
in singing, though. Like, at any time that we start tracking vocals in our basement, you'll, like, listen back, and you're like, what is that?
It's always in the background. It's like,
Like, he'll wait till you have you're in after a phrase, you sing a line,
yeah,
and
he's
then
got
he's like,
great timing.
He does.
Really good timing.
And you haven't sampled that yet, and compressed it.
oh,
and
I'm
put a
sure it's in
reverb
there
on it and
somewhere.
stuff.
Yeah.
So the cat is not a very good A&R man, then, is what you're
No,
saying.
no, he's mostly just good for cuddles.
Just emotional support.
So do you guys ever have differences of opinion? Like Ryan, you're like, I love this song and I want to work on it. And Kim's like, no, this is not happening for me. Has that happen to you guys?
I mean, not to a blowout degree, but
Yeah,
the dialogue is so constant that it's not like anything would ever come to a head. It's like
Right.
if you're working on a long form project every day, it's
Yeah.
got to keep moving.
the collaboration usually happens before an idea gets set. And that's when, you get a little stickier in your
Right.
ideas. As if, well, I've been playing it this way for 3 weeks as I've been writing it. And, we just don't have that. It's sort of like, it's bouncing ideas constantly off of each other. And we also have, not a rule, but something we try to abide by, which is like, there are no dumb ideas. Because you have to have that trust.
Right.
You have to be able to come in and say, hey, is this lyric idea bad? And it might be. And or like, does that chord sound corny there? And it's
Right.
like, well, maybe. And it's you don't know that until you get to bounce that off of each other.
And do you find that the two of you being as close as you are, because you are married, that you're able to, I don't want to say, are you able to step away from his ideas and look at it objectively and say, oh, this is actually really good? Or it sounds like you're able to go to him and say, you know what, this is not really working here. Or and vice versa. I mean, it goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, we luckily our tastes are pretty in line and our aesthetic is pretty in line, but we definitely have things that we bring to each other, and it's like, that's not quite it. And then we usually just work together to find what is it about it, because if it is making one of our, it's not to reference Paul Simon twice, but obviously he's amazing. But he talks about the ear goes to the irritant.
Mm-hmm.
And so if one of our ears is saying, "Oh God, what? That's not right,
yeah, sure, I
quite
understand.
right. What is that?" And we work together to kind of troubleshoot that and try to find that. And sometimes we won't even see it, and we'll just think something's great, and then we bring it to the band, and then they'll be like, "That one's not."
I was going to say, so Nick and Luke are the final arbiters of this is working, this isn't working?
And then Sam, our producer.
And Sam, oh yeah.
He is the true final arbiter.
Well, I've always viewed that as the producer's job, is someone has to make a decision at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right?
And we do, since we co-write and then we bring it to the band and we make some collective decision making there, it is nice to have one final, like, this isn't really working. You just kind of committed to it because you've been doing it for a while.
Right.
Which you can.
And he has a nice British accent, so it sounds nicer when he tells you your idea is bad.
It always sounds better with the accent, doesn't it? The bad news always comes there. So, all right. So, what do you got for us next?
I think we've got
we've got one more.
One more? Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
You want to introduce it?
Blame it on me. This is another one off of the new EP. It's the first track on the new EP.
Okay. We're here with Smokey Brights. They have a new EP out called Come to Terms on Freak Out Records.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming into our little media center today.
Thank you
so
very much for
having
us.
us.
Have a great time on the rest of the tour. Have a great show in South by Southwest at Treefort.
Yes.
Luke and Nick, thank you so much for coming with the bands. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
You're trying to look the other way, but the other way, it looks back